Hello, Dr. Greg Gillum here, CEO of Human Fusion, and today's article comes from January 15th, 2019 from Ron Carucci. It's called, Are Your High Expectations Hurting Your Team? Now this one hit home with me because when I was in the pharmaceutical industry, one of the most memorable pieces of feedback came from me down in South Carolina. All of my team was there. I was undergoing management assimilation, which is we had to get in front of our team and their team would give us feedback on how we were doing, good and bad. And one of my direct reports, I'll never forget it, she said, Greg, you can continue to dream up in your management world, and we'll be down here on the ground continuing to do our very, very best to get the results that you want. And she had very good intent. We had a very high trust on our team, so I never felt like the intent was bad or ill-willed. It was very good intent, so I trusted her feedback. And later on, when I read Daniel Goleman's work on primal leadership, I learned that I was a pace-setting leader, which means you continuously have very high expectations and you continue to drive, and you're never ever satisfied with results. And so I learned that from his work, Daniel Goleman's work, I learned that that has a very negative effect on morale long term. It can have very positive short-term benefits, but long term it has negative effect on morale, and that was a real eye-opener for me. So this article goes into why, setting a bar high is good, but setting a bar too high is very, very bad for leading teams and bad for morale and bad for results eventually. It goes into 3 problems that this style of leadership kind of sets up. And he talks about the fact that 35% of all leaders have a tendency to have this particular style. It's one of the reasons that gets them into the C-suite, the executive ranks, but it's probably one of the reasons that some management gets a bad rap because of these types of perfectionistic, very high standard types of leaders. So what are the 3 issues he talks about? Number 1 is for the manager that has this style, just chronic disappointment. You can never be satisfied. Even if you do a great job, you can never ever have that internal sort of satisfaction, that joy that comes from a job well done. You'll never experience that if you don't work on this, and so you have a very warped self-perception that can develop. Number 2 is a loss of self-confidence in your team. So if someone thinks they are doing a good job, they never get any good feedback. It's just always critical. They're never good enough. They can never measure up. Eventually, they're just going to lose confidence in themselves and just stop trying. And then they're just going to be reactive and not creative. So they're just going to, the best course of action usually is to do nothing and just wait on whatever comes along for these perfectionistic leaders. And then finally, it talks about a team that's experienced this type of leadership becomes very immune to resilience, meaning that when setbacks come along, they've not built this creative energy. They've only been reactive, and therefore they can't respond very well to adversity. And so it has a real negative impact. This style of perfectionistic leadership and management has a very negative impact on teams. And in the next video, we're going to explore several ways that the author is teaching us here of how to overcome this tendency to become this perfectionistic, very, very high standard type of leader. And if you like these types of management-related videos, please subscribe to Human Fusion, and we'll keep you up to date on all the latest trends that are affecting your management practice today. Thanks. Have a great day.